Bezrat Hashem Mincha is going to be 8:15. Please be on time. We continue in the Halacha Muktze. We want to discuss today what is called Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis, which means, and sometimes it's defined incorrectly, as an item that is expensive. It has nothing to do with an expensive item versus not an expensive item. It's not the definition of Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis. The literal translation, it means Muktze, something that is set aside, Mahamat, for the reason of Hisaron Kis, of the loss of money that is involved. What does that mean? That means I have an item that has a primary usage. That primary usage is something that's not allowed to be done on Shabbat. But technically, you could use it for other things that are allowed to be used on Shabbat. Except I would never allow anybody to use it for those things because I'm afraid that the item might get ruined or unusable. And it's too valuable for me to lose that item. And a typical example, the textbook example you could say, is the knife of a shochet, of a person who has a slaughtering knife, or the knife of a mohel, that they are never going to use that to cut watermelons or to peel lemons. It's never going to be used for that. Why? Because it's an expensive knife, it's a specialty item, and you don't want it to get ruined, and therefore you don't use it for those things. So it happens to be that's a case where something is expensive and you wouldn't use it for other things. But it doesn't have to be. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have post office stamps. They're 50 cents. It's still Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis. To use it, to post it on an envelope on Shabbat is asul. But what if you have a little kid who says, I want to use it to play with. I want to use it to put stickers on myself. You'll never let him do it. Because hey, it's for stamps. It's not for you to use it. Even though it's only 50 cents, or whatever it is, 60 cents, it's still considered Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis because the vast majority of people will never allow anybody to use it for anything other than to send letters. And therefore, it's nothing to do really with how expensive. Example would be a person who has a passport. You wouldn't allow people to just use it or play with it. It's important. It's something special. A lot of people, their cell phones or their laptops could qualify under that. Although some people don't really care too much about their stuff, especially if it's old. But if it's a new phone or it's a new laptop, and they're not going to allow other people to use it and other things like that, it would have the status of Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis. What is special about Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis? You're not allowed to move it even for Tzorech Gufo and Tzorech Mekomo, which means even if I need the place where a typical Kli Shemelachto Le'isur I'd be able to move, or I need the item's physical form itself to use it for a physical form that is permitted on Shabbat, I would not be able to do that by something that is Muktze Mahamat Hisaron Kis. It is the highest form and level of Muktze. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen. Today's learning is Irui Nishmat Pinchas Ben Yeshua.